Hey YouTube, Red Earth Thunder, and we're back with another one. Today we're gonna go over a nice and basic one that I think we all need to understand, especially if we're getting puppies, but a lot of times even your older rescues will need that guidance as well. And so let's hop straight into potty training. So general rule of thumb is that a puppy can hold it for about an hour per month of age. Now that's generally speaking. Your larger breeds are going to be able to hold it longer, sooner. If you have a super small, these designer micro breeds, they're not going to be able to hold it quite as long. So keep your breed in mind as well. So now about an hour per month of age, that is if we're being fairly calm and not being super excited. If we're playing a whole lot and being super energetic, that's going to be about half that time. So that's one thing you want to keep in mind. The other thing is that we want to make sure we're feeding them on a schedule, because we can't tell when it's going to come out if we don't know when it's going in. If you're feeding them on a schedule, about 10 to 15 minutes after eating, they'll need to go. Directly after waking up from a nap, we're going to need to go. When you do take the pup out, take them to generally the same 10 by 10 area. The reason that potty pads work is there's an artificial pheromone in it that attracts them to it. Their own pheromones are going to work on them as well. And so you want to keep them in the same spot. What happens a lot of times is we take our dog out and we let our puppy pull us all over the place. And they're puppies and they get distracted by the leaves and all these other amazing things in the world. So don't keep yourself out there longer than 5 minutes. Again, same 10 by 10 area. You come back in the house and you can either keep them on the leash and wait a minute or two and go back out. Or if you have some things you need to do, then put them in the crate. Put them in their crate, and then about 5 minutes or so later, go ahead and take them back out. The reason that this helps is that what happens is they go outside, they need to pee, but they're overstimulated. They ignore their body, and what happens a lot of times, we bring them back in, we take them off the leash, and then they go and have an accident. We're frustrated because we just took them out. But they've had a chance to calm down, and then their body's like, hey, remember, we had to do something. And so what happens by keeping them on that leash for that minute or two is it allows them to start to settle down. So don't bring them inside and be all amped up with them and stuff. Just kind of ignore them, let them start to settle down. Once they do, go ahead and take them back out. Now when they do go, give them a treat. Tell them good boy, good girl, be fairly calm. Don't get overexcited, don't make a big deal. Good girl, good boy. You may get them super excited and then they come inside and still relieve some more pressure. So fairly calm, rewarding once they're completely done. If you want to train your dog to go on command, I can make another video on that. I don't want to take up the potty training video on that alone. Please leave a comment below if that's something that interests you. But you can teach them to go on command so that they go exactly when you need them and only wherever you ask them to go. So let's see, we've talked about waking up from the nap, we've talked about the hour per month of age, we've talked about the half that time if they're being energetic, 10 to 15 minutes after eating. Let's see, are we missing anything here? Dogs are diurnal creatures like we are, and so it is typical that they will start to hold it throughout the night fairly soon. So don't expect that just because your dog is sleeping throughout the night and holding it, that they're going to be able to do that same thing during the daytime. They are not. Generally by 12 weeks, you'll usually see that you are able to start sleeping throughout the night. A lot of times well before then. I'm saying assuming you got the puppy at 8 weeks. Usually within a few weeks, you're able to start sleeping throughout the night. You can potty train your dog within a week if you are on top of this and you're getting your pup out a lot. I don't use potty pads at all. The only exception to that is two exceptions. One, if you live in a place like New York where you're in a high-rise building, it's not realistic that you're going to be able to get your puppy down in time to be able to use the bathroom. You also don't have a ton of options there. Then you also have, if you're working a traditional 9 to 5, like if you're working, it doesn't even have to be 9 to 5, but if you're working, you're going to be away from the home longer than the pup can hold it, then what you would do is you would set up a access for them to be able to use the bathroom. What I like to do, if you don't want to invest in a playpen, if you do a playpen, you would put the crate up to the playpen so that the dog can go into the playpen. There's a potty pad in there for them to use, but they can also get back into their crate to be able to go to sleep. And you can do that same thing without buying a playpen though. You would just use like a half bathroom. The smaller the room, the better. And you would set up the crate in the doorway. Most crates aren't going to be big enough to block the whole doorway, so you will have to find a way to block off the sides so the pup can't just come out. But they can go into the bathroom, use the potty pad, come back in their crate, and go to sleep. Those are the exceptions. When you are home, I would not have the potty pads down at all. Again, unless you're like in New York or something. But it teaches them to go in the house, and if that isn't your plan, if that isn't your goal, then I would not have that happen from the beginning. I don't think I am missing anything. If I did, I would do a follow-up video, but I believe I covered it all. Stay on top of these things, and I promise you will see a major difference in your pup, just understanding when it is that they need to go. Oh, this is important as well. Don't get too caught up on your pup telling you they need to go. It takes every dog a little different to tell you, but it's not going to happen super soon. It's not going to happen as soon as you want it to. They will be potty trained well before they're telling you they need to go out. Some dogs will very quickly present a behavior to let you know they need to go out. You can also capture a behavior. So if your dog happens to bark one time, obviously we don't want to reinforce the excessive barking. But if your dog barks one time on a fairly consistent basis, then the moment they bark, grab their leash, take them outside. What they will start to associate is, oh, if I do this, I can go out. Now you can train them with the doorbells. I tend to avoid that because it's a 50-50 chance that the dog is going to abuse the system. Some dogs will just keep ringing it and ringing it and ringing it just to go out, and they don't really need to go out. There are a lot of dogs that it's extremely successful for as well. That is an entirely personal choice how you want to go about that. But yeah, I really appreciate you all watching this video. If you haven't yet, please consider subscribing to the YouTube channel below, hitting the notification bell, of course hitting that like button, and leaving your dog trainer questions below. I will answer them, and I want to thank you again. We will see you on the next one.